The Chicago Bears season comes to an end in really undramatic fashion. They lose 17-9 to the Packers. Once again, still have not beaten them since 2018. I'm Harrison Graham. Welcome to our Bears Now post-game show. We'll talk about the game a little bit and then ultimately turn it into a big picture conversation because you got to wonder what this performance means for the futures of Justin Fields, Matt Eberflus, and Luke Getsy. Ignore the final score. If you didn't watch this game, don't convince yourself it was close. This game was not. The Bears got run over. They only threw the ball 16 times. They ran it 25 times for only 3 yards per carry. Jordan Love carved you up. They couldn't tackle Aaron Jones. It was a dominant performance from Green Bay. We'll look at some statistical numbers that prove that even further. But the Bears got their ass kicked again because that's what they do against the Green Bay Packers. What do you guys think the Bears should do with Matt Eberflus? I know all the reports heading into this game. They've got momentum. They're playing well. Flus is likely back. Again, if you take the final score out of it, they got bulldozed today. I would fire him and try to get Jim Harbaugh. If you're with me, type F for fire. If you would keep him, run it back for a third year, type K for keep. I don't think Flus is good enough. I think things have improved, but I never am going to be convinced that he's a guy that you could win a Super Bowl with. And a guy like Jim Harbaugh is out there, and I think you could win a Super Bowl with him. Why not try to upgrade? F for fire, K for keep. Let me know what you guys think the Bears should do with Matt Eberflus. All right, let's talk about the game a bit, and then we'll talk about the 3 figureheads I just mentioned even further. He just got nothing going offensively, man. Nothing going offensively. Justin Fields, 11 of 16, buck 48. That in itself is like pretty efficient, decent football, but that's what you would want out of a half or 3 quarters. Only 16 pass attempts. He got sacked 5 times. The O-line really struggled. Lucas Patrick was out. Obviously, he's not very good anyway, but Dan Feeney was bad. Tevin Jenkins, I love the guy. Really bad game today. Probably the worst game of his career. I think he gave up 2 or 3 sacks. Nate Davis left with an injury. The interior really struggled, and it showed. They couldn't run the ball. When they did try to set up long downfield throws a couple of times, they couldn't hold up. He ran for 27 yards, but you see the running. I mean, 12 for 28 for Herbert. Fields, 8 for 27. Roschon, 5 for 20. Add it all up, it's 3 yards per carry, 75 yards on 25 attempts. And that's where the conversation really gets to Luke Getsy. We'll talk about him first out of the 3. I've said this, and I'll continue to say it, and there's data charts that suggest this. His scripted Plan A stuff is usually pretty good. First drive, they went straight down, got a field goal, actually. It's a good drive. Once defenses settle in, though, he can't adjust. I mean, how many times is he going to go back to that toss crack for -2? I mean, he just is incapable of finding solutions when the defense has your Plan A snuffed out. And we saw it time and time again, not just this game, but all year. The Minnesota games, you look at like the Denver game to an extent, that you were rolling, and then in the fourth quarter you couldn't figure anything out. Like it just showed up once again here in the biggest, I don't want to say biggest game of the year. You're out of the playoffs, but a chance to beat your rival and knock them out, just not good enough. I don't look at this game as the Justin Fields blew it game. I mean, he didn't fumble. He took care of the ball, no turnovers, but you just felt like he didn't even have the ball that much because they just ran it most of the time, and he only threw it 16 times. Was he good enough? No. Did he lose you the game? I don't really feel like he did. Like, it's so hard to even evaluate the quarterback in this one. I just know this. I don't know what's going to happen here, and I'll speculate here on this show, and we'll continue to discuss it moving forward. Luke Getsy at minimum has got to go. He's just not good enough, man. He is just not good enough. I do want to ask you this, though. Is the Justin Fields era over? Do you think this is it? Was this his last game in a Bears uniform? Type Y for yes. Type in for no. My gut is telling me yes, which sucks to say out loud, but that is the feeling I get here. But I haven't made my own personal final decision on what I would do. I'm just guessing what the Bears would do, but it's just you feel like change is going to come after this performance. So Y for yes, in for no. Let me know if you think the Justin Fields era is over. We'll talk more about Flus and the defense here in just a little bit as we progress here on our post-game show, but We are sponsored by Game Time, the best ticketing app where you can get last-minute tickets for the best price guaranteed. Whether you're going to a Bulls game moving forward, a concert, a comedy show, Game Time's going to get you the best prices available. We got some of upcoming home game for the Bulls listed here, and some good ticket prices available. What's cool about Game Time, too, is purchasing tickets through their app is very easy. It's painless. It's not stressful like some of the other apps are. They'll show you pictures of your exact vantage point. And last-minute deals, a lot of the time, like if it's the day of the game, you might get like a huge sale where you can get into the arena for very, very cheap. So download the app today. Search Game Time on your app store. We also have a link in the chat and in the description. Download the app. It's a big white letter G with a black background. Use promo code BearsChat. That's going to get you $20 off when you create an account today. Go take advantage of this deal. Game Time. Last-minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Trust me, you are not going to regret it. Jordan Love just dissected you, man. And look, I'm man enough to admit it. Jordan Love outplayed Justin Fields twice this year, both times. Again, I don't think today is like a Fields shortcoming story, but it's definitely a Jordan Love elevated story. 27-32 against a defense that's playing well. I get it, Jalen Johnson's out, but still 316, 2 scores. I mean, he cooked you. And what did I say coming into this game? You have to stop the run because Jordan Love on play action has been good all year. And the Bears have the number 1 ranked rushing defense, and guess what they did today? They got run over. Aaron Jones, 5 yards a carry, 22 carries for 111 yards. And by the way, that number went down late in the game because the Bears knew they were running it. They couldn't stop him. He's the only running back they got to carry because A.J. Dillon was out, and he just absolutely controlled the game. You couldn't get pressure up front, couldn't get penetration. So then when they threw the ball, Jordan Love had all day to throw. And yeah, he made a few tough throws. I'm giving him credit. But a lot of the time, it's just wide open guys, man. Dayton Reed can't cover him. Bo Melton, nope. Dontavian Wicks, 2 touchdowns. And they're making it work with rookies. That's 3 rookies. I get it. The Bears receiving core after DJ Moore is not very good. But they got nothing. These guys got better all year. Where's the improvement for Tyler Scott? Where's the improvement for Velus Jones? It's just non-existent. It's non-existent, and it's frustrating as hell, man. Like, I'm going to get my final word in on Matt Eberflus in a minute, but I'll tell you this. I think this offseason was already going to be hectic. It was already going to be wild with the Bears having the number 1 pick, big decision there, a lot of cap space. I think the coaching just got right back into the mix of what could happen, what could change here, because there's no way in my mind you just run this back with Flus, Getsy, and the rest of the crew. Like, someone or someone's is going to have to go. Like, I just can't imagine a scenario where they just trade Fields, pin it all on him, and keep the coaching staff. So subscribe to the channel. We're going to cover it all. It's going to be wild, and Rolly and I can't wait for it. As far as Matt Eberflus goes, I would move on, man. Like, I've said it all year. Yes, he deserves credit for keeping this team together. 2 assistant coaches got fired / had to resign due to HR nightmare. Like, this team could have folded, and they didn't, to their credit. I give him credit for that. But I still don't think he's good enough. I don't. Like, today's a perfect example of that. This is a team that had seemingly a lot of momentum coming into this game. Playing well. Defense is playing well. And sure, if you scoreboard hunt, 17 points. The Packers had 431 yards, man. You could not stop them. They missed a field goal, and they butchered the end of the first half when they should have gotten points there too. The fact that this was an 8-point game is one of the most false box score hunting games you'll ever find. The Bears got trucked. And the point is, and I've said this and I'll continue to say this, I think this team would have made the playoffs this year if Jim Harbaugh was the head coach. I don't think you blow 3 fourth-quarter leads the way they did against Detroit, Denver, and Cleveland. I don't think you would have gotten blown out twice by Green Bay. Sure, maybe you split, maybe even lose both, but not the way you did. It's probably a 9-10 win team with a better coaching staff. Again, I think Flus has kept the guys together. He deserves credit. But if we're going to sit here and talk about how upgrading at quarterback needs to be a discussion, isn't that true for a head coach? Isn't that true for this coaching staff? Like, change has got to come. And guess what? You can make change without it being a reset like it was 2 years ago. Like, to me, change is just looking for an upgrade. Like, this team can be a playoff team next year. The team is better. The roster is better. They're a couple of collapses away from being a playoff team this year. But to that point, a better coach team would not have collapsed. I watched this game today, and the tougher team won. Green Bay's breaking tackles. Green Bay's getting pushed at the line of scrimmage. They wanted it more. Like, that's a lot of that's coaching, man. You got to be ready to play, and they weren't. You've got to upgrade it, coach. Matt Eberflus seems like a nice guy. He's a damn good defensive coordinator. I don't think he's a good enough head coach. Just close your eyes and imagine. Can Matt Eberflus win a Super Bowl? Do you see him hoisting a Lombardi trophy? If the answer is unequivocally no, which it is for me, then you should move on and try to upgrade. I don't think this is knee-jerk reaction by me. This isn't just about one game. This is about the whole thing. Like, based on the roster and the way this team played at times this year, this team should have won more than 7 games. I said coming into this year, the floor needs to be 7. Sure, they reached the floor. Congrats. But that's without the context of blowing 3 10-plus point fourth-quarter leads when you had a 91% chance in all 3 and a 99% chance in 2 of the 3. That doesn't add in the fact that you got blown out by your biggest rival twice. Like, you just have to be better. You have to shoot higher. And that is why I would change head coaches. So that's me. I'll leave it at that for now. We'll definitely have a lot more tomorrow. We'll have a video go out in the morning. We'll be live at some point. Busy stuff ahead. So subscribe. Turn on the notifications. You're not going to want to miss out. And I know it sucks now, but FGB forever.